Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we spent 2 hours of our lives last night watching Hocus Pocus 2 on Disney Plus. And we're going to talk about it.
We are.
We're going to talk about it. All right. So before we get into it any further, a couple things. One, please subscribe if you haven't done so already for more pop culture news, views, rants. Guys, we talked a lot about Disney, having worked in and around the company for a number of years. And two, there are spoilers. There are spoilers in this video. So if you haven't seen Hocus Pocus 2, spoiler, Bette Midler's back. But if you haven't seen Hocus Pocus 2, you probably don't want to watch this video until you have done so. We get people all the time being like, you spoiled the review. They don't even like if we put like in the headline, like, Hocus Pocus 2 was kind of meh. They're like, you spoiled the movie. You said it was meh. I'm like, it's not as bad as freaking Forbes. Hocus Pocus 2 is just as lazy and boring as its predecessor.
Yeah, a lot of places were saying it wasn't the best.
Yeah, so anyway, we're going to talk about, let's talk about it. You've been warned.
Yeah.
Go.
Go talk about it? Or
Go talk about it.
Oh. Well.
No, I'm not telling people go away. Don't watch the video.
Just
if
like,
you want to.
Okay, so I really wanted to see it. I was very excited for it.
Yeah.
I should know better than get excited for things. Anyway.
Anything Disney current year, don't get excited.
There are some really good things. There were. And there was a lot of questionable decisions made.
Yeah.
And at the end of the movie, you come out like, eh. And it's really hard for me to say because I really want it to be good because I love Hocus Pocus. I've loved this since before it was a cult classic. I loved it this entire time before, they all had decided it was good. They should not have waited this many years for a second film.
They should have involved more people from the original movie.
Yes, 100% there.
That was a problem, and they never should have tried to redeem the Sanderson sisters. They're
sympathetic villains.
Sympathetic villains. This is okay. This is a perfect example of Disney 1993 versus Disney 2022. Disney 1993, the movie starts with them murdering a child and getting hanged, and they're just child murdering witches that happen to be doofy and prone to musical numbers. 2022, they have to turn them into sympathetic villains, and you can just hug it out with them. And they don't actually show them eating any children. They joke about it, but they're the kinder, gentler Sanderson sisters.
It's mostly just like little, they hardly do anything. Like the first one, they were out to get these kids, and they were like, they were
threat?
Gonna,
they were an actual threat.
And this one, they aren't really.
No.
And now the book has a choice and all this other crap.
No, that's what I'm talking about. This is like they completely Steven Universed Hocus Pocus, right? Because basically, the book has a choice. Book turns to the good side. The Sanderson sisters are completely non-threatening. They don't murder anybody, and the children, whatever, and basically they're just misunderstood.
Then you have the guy who has a magic shop, Gilbert, who literally tricks these girls into lighting a candle because he wants to bring them back. He thinks they're going to be his friends, and he kind of like throws them under the bus, throws Billy Butcherson under the bus, and he's kind of an all around asshat. But that's just Gilbert. He's just quirky that way. It's like
it was. I mean, there were a lot of things. You really I could rip this thing apart, but I'm not going to. Let's just say it feels like a direct to DVD cheap cool.
That's why we're like, why are they putting this in the theaters? It's money in the bank. Oh, I see why.
No, that's exactly it. Because I was like, oh my god, if they do a Hocus Pocus 2 with the original Sanderson sisters, that is, especially now that having cult status. That is money in the bank. And then once we watch the movie, we're like, oh, now we get. Same with Pinocchio.
Well, now the Sanderson sisters, the actresses that play the Sanderson sisters are fun, of course. You can tell they're having fun. You can tell they're excited to be there. And they're fun. I'll give them that. They're fun. That's
basically it. It was cool that Disney got back the original Sanderson sisters. They were completely wasted.
The Roombas are fun.
The Roombas are fun. They're the best. I mean, basically, if you would cut out all the other crap and just have about 20 minutes of them chewing on the scenery, that'd be fun. Literally,
it's so accurate.
That would be okay. Like it is like a webisode or something. Like, oh, what if the Sanderson sisters came back in 2022 and they went to Walgreens? Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah. And they're eating all the potions because they think that they since youth has children in it.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't want to like it so much. Our daughter is a target demographic for this. Like she's close to the age that the new coven's supposed to be and all that. And when they started singing Blondie, her exact words were, "I'm out," and she walked out.
Okay. So our daughter, our teenage daughter is pretty gothy. She's into show tunes. She loves Hocus Pocus. Loves Hocus Pocus.
She also loves Blondie.
And she loves Blondie.
Before it was trending.
Before it was trendy. You're welcome. But she noped out. She's like, I can't watch this. This is cringy.
When they start singing the Blondie, she just is like, no. And they tried. Okay, here's the problem that Disney keeps having. And they had this with The Force Awakens and stuff too. They do one of two things. Either they keep trying so hard to make it a new version of something that's already been done, and pretty much it's clearly not different enough, or they go the other way, where they make things too different and they change characters too much and they're no longer the characters. And in this case, they were leaning more into the first one because they pretty much wanted to try to make the movie again we're going to have a new diverse cast of younger people. They didn't include any of the old cast other than the Sanderson sisters, which was a big mistake. They even tried to shoehorn a black cat in there for no reason.
Yeah. So the audience scores aren't good. This one actually sums up my feeling on it. It's a soulless shell of the original. It tries to give humanity to the Sanderson sisters, but the sisters have been stealing children's souls since the original. They aren't good people. You can't redeem them without feeling contrived. They said it does that. There's nothing original about it. It's boring. It's a major letdown. Never should have been made. People saying they should have brought the original cast members back. Now, here's what's interesting. Omri Katz, who played Max in the original, was completely down with coming back. Yeah. But this is what the director said. The director, Ann Fletcher, said it was a difficult decision to leave him out. She said, we wanted to weave in all of the people that the fans loved.
All the people the fans loved. They brought back 3 characters.
3 characters. And when you sat back with all the ingredients and story, you're like, how do we make this work?
Okay, here's the thing. It would have worked. But the whole thing is she wanted to tell her story.
Yes.
It would have worked. You could have made a good story.
Didn't they have a book? I thought they had a book sequel where it was the child of Max, wasn't it?
I think it was Max and Allison. Max and Allison. It was the child of Max and Allison. And the whole thing is because they wanted, I'm going to tell you straight up, here's what happened. They wanted a new one, but they wanted to make it female focused.
Yes, that's exactly
And they wanted to make sure that either the characters were either not white, or if they were white dudes, they were dumbasses, yes. Complete dumbasses. And because we have to keep that diversity and inclusion initiative up. Which honestly, I didn't have a problem with the actresses that played the other girls and the other. It didn't make sense though.
Boring. Because
only one of them had powers.
I don't.
And I don't know. They were okay, but. This is about this person wanting to tell her own story and distancing it from the original, but yet trying to make it a beat for beat the original all over again. You could have brought some of the original cast back, and it would have worked so much better if it had been about, okay, here they're coming back, 30 years later. Oh shit, here they're back again. What are we going to do about it?
Yeah, so this is the director trying to justify again. Again, you can see this objectively looking at, like, no, I don't. They said they talked about it. It doesn't feel to me like that because they could have worked it out somehow. So it was very difficult to try and have them be a part of it because we did talk about it painstakingly.
Yeah, pain is the word.
You're trying to stay on track with the story. Even what story? The story wasn't even...
The story is basically the Sanderson sisters come back and these 3 girls are trying to send them back. But it's not... Like, at least they were threatening in the first one and it had more of a story that made sense. This one, it was just like, we're going to try to trick them by taking them to the Walgreens. And because some dumbass black guy brought them back and tried to sacrifice these girls because he stupidly thought they were going to be his friends, the witches, and somehow he saw them back in '93.
Yeah,
and it's all about the spell they shouldn't cast, and about Book being like upset, doesn't want to cast the spell.
Book has feelings. Book has feelings now and wants to be a good guy.
It's the entire point. Stupid. The entire point of this is let's redeem the evil characters and make them good.
Yes,
that's the entire point.
That again, this shows the difference between Disney and 19. Because I was thinking the other day before we saw the sequel, I'm like, Disney would never make Hocus Pocus now. They would never make Hocus Pocus.
They never make a lot of things.
They'd never make Hercules. We watched Hercules the other day again. At our daughter's request. I'm like, they would never make this movie now. For so many reasons, they would never make this movie. So here's the director again. She said, you're trying to stay on track with the story, even if they came in as a cameo. People would say they could be in the background. And I'm like, really? You're going to put the leads of the first movie in the background and be satisfied?
Well, that's true.
You're not going to be satisfied. You're going to be angry.
Well, they're already angry.
Yes and no. Or you could do it like they did with Ghostbusters Afterlife, where they were an integral part of the story, but they didn't take away from the new cast.
Right, because they could have, so you had the guy who brought them back mistakenly, okay? He knows all the history about what happened because he saw them, right? They could have had that whole thing go down, and then they're like, oh shit, we need help. I know who was involved the first time. Let's go get them and then see what, talk to them and see if they can help us. And it could still have been the focus on that, but it could have been some of the old cast members helping the new cast members, but they wanted to keep pushing on, the new witches. So we're going to do the Hocus Pocus, the TV show where it's going to be, it's the new batch where it's going to be all about these new witches, but they're good witches.
What is this, Charmed? Yeah, so they basically made Book good, and they've got the new witches, and it'll be a Disney Plus series. It'll be Hocus Pocus, the Next Generation. Hocus Pocus, Almagocus. Do you remember that? Today's special. Am I that old? It was some Canadian show with a mannequin.
I think I do remember that actually.
The dumb hat and a mouse, a talking mouse.
I can't. This was dumb. It was basically like they had a story they wanted to tell, an agenda they wanted to do, and they focused on that, even at the detriment to the story. Either you go all in on making it like the old one and bringing the old people in, or you do it completely new. You kind of tried to split the difference, and it didn't work.
Yeah, so they brought him back. I guess they brought him back for some Hulu thing or something.
They did. They brought him back, like I think in the anniversary. They had a lot of the people came back.
But he runs a cannabis company now, so this is him now with his dog. I like his dog. It doesn't even look like him. Like it's hard to tell. Like I gotta squint to see it. But this is Omri Katz now. He was also on Erie, Indiana, which was better than Goosebumps. But he was disappointed. He said he admitted last month he was disappointed not to be in Hocus Pocus. He thought the movie would be a success, but people are going to watch it just because it's Hocus Pocus.
Right, that's what they're banking on. Yeah. And you know why they did this? Think about it too. They didn't put it in the theaters. They put it on September 30th on Disney Plus. Because everybody was going to watch it September 30th. They were going to subscribe to watch this movie. And the end of the quarter for the whole 2021-2022 fiscal year happens to be on midnight September 30th.
Yep. People were going to subscribe just to watch Hocus Pocus 2.
So they didn't care if it turned out that people didn't like it afterwards. They got what they wanted. Their big boost, which they'll brag about during the investor call.
Yeah. So I think it's kind of funny, though, too, because Bette Midler, she's had to do some damage control because she said a couple of things over the summer that people have turned against her now because she supposedly she's right there with J.K. Rowling. She made a transphobic tweet by saying she didn't think women should be called menstruators or
birthing people.
You
know what? As a woman, I don't think I should be called a menstruator or a birthing person either. And plus,
canceled.
But it's insulting to what about women that have issues that they can't menstruate? I've been there. And what about women that have issues that they can't have kids? That's actually very harmful and hurtful to those people.
There you go. See? Look at you. You should be a Hollywood star.
Actually, the point that stuff out was Squid King about being ableist. That was Squid King. He's like, what about women who can't have kids?
Wow. Well, he's not allowed to have an opinion because he's a white dude.
I don't care. He can have all the opinions he wants.
She was under, this is coming from Inside the Magic. Remember when they used to like everything Disney was fantastic and magical? Yeah, well, they weren't getting clicks. So now they're now they're inside the tragic. But they apparently she made some tweets about the Supreme Court ruling Roe v. Wade being overturned, and she put, So that didn't go very well either. So now, this comes out a couple days ago. No, Bette Midler doesn't think she needs Hocus Pocus 2 to renew her gay icon status. This is Global Girl. So basically, let me get this straight. Because she made a couple of tweets people didn't like, she got fired as a gay icon. Is that what happened?
Apparently.
So now Hocus Pocus 2 has to reestablish her as a gay icon.
But why is she not a gay icon? Because just because you're trans doesn't mean you're LGBT. You're LGBTQ, but it doesn't mean you're gay. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean you're trans. Well,
they have a drag show in the middle of it.
Right, but what I'm saying is, how how is her saying that again, ruining her gay icon status?
Because she went against Twitter. If you go against Twitter, you hate everybody who's diverse.
Because nothing she said was against gay people at all.
No. She's like,
that doesn't make any sense.
She's just like, I'm a woman. I'd rather not be called a menstruator or a birthing person.
So wait, let me get this straight. You're supposed to respect how people identify unless they identify in a way that you don't like. Like, I want to be called a woman, and that's somehow problematic. But if someone wants to say that they're a deer, I'm supposed to accept that. Let me get this. Am I right here about in this?
You know what I want to identify as?
What? Sperm cannon.
I'm not a man. I'm a sperm cannon, baby.
How misogynistic of you. So what are people saying in the Rotten Tomatoes? I didn't even get to really look at it.
Yeah, we'll look at. I mean, we've got the usual 5-star. You know, it was a well done sequel, long overdue. Thank goodness they did this before it was too late for the cast. Yes, because Sarah Jessica Parker is teetering on the edge of 95.
Wait, of course it lacks nostalgia of the original for me personally, but it fits into the 2-part story perfectly.
There was no 2-part story. They made up some shit to make a sequel. Like,
I mean, the point about her not wanting to lose her sisters, that actually made sense. I mean, that was within character.
And how many other people's sisters did you kill?
Exactly.
You care about your sisters, but you had no qualms taking Binks's sister. Just saying. Maybe you should feel really bad about that.
The good reviews are I also thought this movie was well done, especially the original being made. But I'm talking about how they could have added some things. They should have added a few more things to tie it back to the original, to the first movie. Then they have this pretty good, enjoyable, but wish more of the original cast had been in it. The music. They did
it's cringy.
They did sing in the first one. She didn't even sing the "Come Little Children" song. They had a little clip of it when they first appeared, but it wasn't really. It didn't make sense.
That was her thing, and
right? But they didn't really do that.
No.
The reason they sang "I'll Put a Spell on You," which actually made more sense, was because they were on stage accidentally.
Yeah.
And this one they kind of get them on stage again, but then they start singing "Blondie,"
and they do a flash mob.
And then when they first appeared, and the first thing they do is they appear and start singing, and then the guy's like, "Did they sing?" And I'm like.
That wasn't really what they were known for. They were known for being awful bitches, and they only shoehorned the musical number in the first movie because Bette Midler was a singer before she was an actress. Mm-hmm. That's it, And I'm like, this is just.
And don't waste your time. Only watch 40 minutes. That's about our daughter. Literally, she's the target demographic. Loves Hocus Pocus. She grew up with it. Literally got up and said, "I'm out."
I couldn't believe that. I'm like, that you failed, because she is literally the target demographic you're looking for. She's about the same age as the kids they had in the movie, a little bit younger, but I'm saying, and you still struck out, and I'm just sitting here I was actually more interested in the young Sanderson sisters. I'm like, if they had done a prequel that was fun, because the kids that were playing the young
Sanderson, they were actually pretty interesting. I would have watched that.
Yeah, if they had done a prequel maybe to it, that might have actually made more sense to me.
The girl who played Winnie has the mannerisms down.
She was really good. So I'm just saying, there are a lot of different ways they could have gone with it. I think they should have either done a straight up prequel, but then you wouldn't get the Sanderson sisters in it. I
think that the actresses that were the Sanderson sisters were good, and they were just like they were in the original. I mean, they were pretty much straight up the exact same. They were obviously the best part.
Yeah,
and I mean, it's kind of a disservice to them, in my opinion, because of what they gave them to work with. They needed to bring back some of the original cast. They needed a story that actually made effing sense.
Yeah, and again, people are going to look at the book probably and be like, well, the book actually made more sense than the movie. The movie it was bland. It was just bland. It was a very bland, direct-to-video cheapquel.
It was like they were clearly trying to shoehorn things in that harken back to the first one for no reason, so it made no sense, like them singing the one way or another. And the black cat being there for no damn good reason.
No reason.
Because he had a black cat.
It's not like the people working on who worked on the original are doing a whole lot of Hollywood work these days. Could have got them pretty easily. In fact, Omri Katz said he would have loved to have come back.
And people would have loved to have seen them back.
Even just 5 minutes or something.
They could have tied it in. It could have easily been part of the story. They could have used the same kind of story and then still got them in there. I don't know. It's not that good. I'm sorry, it's not. I wanted it to be really good. It's nowhere near. It's not as good as the first one. You might like it, and that's cool if you like it. I wanted to like it. It was just. Such a missed opportunity.
Like I said, I would have preferred just to have them hamming it up as the Sanderson sisters on like a YouTube video or at something, because that's the only redeeming part of the movie. It was clearly a cash grab, and how Hocus Pocus blew up in the last couple of years, I have no idea. I think it's just they were like, oh, we need some Halloween merch. So
well, they didn't show it. Well, no, it's been more than a couple of years. It's been like about the last like 10 or 15 years. They've been really pushing it.
Yeah.
But I was always a fan since it first came out. But it's like you said, I would have loved to have seen videos of these guys just like, you know, in the Walgreens or different things. Like they could have taken those clips and just like, you know, made it into something far more entertaining.
Now, just imagine if they had done what they talked about doing at first, which was recasting.
Oh, that would have been
witches.
A mistake.
And it would have been a complete waste. Like, this is,
Well, they basically did that with, kind of, they're replacing him with these other girls.
Yeah, that's true.
That's basically what they did.
So, I don't know, what on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give this?
I don't even know.
I'm
just sad. Because, I mean, these three were really good. But it's not the level of the first one. If you're comparing it to the first one, I don't know, like a 6.
Oh God,
I think that's being. I'm trying to be.
I give it like a 3 or 4.
I was thinking like 5 at the, but
like I said, I'm trying
to be nice.
The Sanderson sisters scenes were good. It wasn't the worst movie ever made, and let's be honest, the original Hocus Pocus is a cult classic, but it wasn't the best movie ever made either. But this just felt very unnecessary. It was a very unnecessary, quick cash grab for Disney to boost subscriber numbers on Disney Plus, and it really. I don't think I would ever watch this one again, even if, you know, just in the background. Like, it's just like, okay, whatever. There was a thing they did. Oh yeah, there was a Hocus Pocus too.
So our daughter didn't even watch it.
She didn't watch it.
And then today she's like, "Can we watch the actual Hocus Pocus today or later?"
Yeah,
I mean that's what she said.
That's pretty much it.
That's what she said. So
all right, are we gonna wrap this up?
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.